Welcome back to the Diamond Chronicles, true tales of trade, trust, and betrayal in the world's second oldest industry. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Judy Lee.
How are you today?
The Diamond Apprentice. I'm well today, actually. Had a restful weekend. I'm very pleased about the fact that we've made some changes to the podcast.
As you can see, well, keep in mind, not everyone will be watching our podcast, right? There'll still be some people listening to it on Spotify. Why? I don't know, because look at our cute faces. Anyways.
I don't really know what to say to that exactly.
Say you agree.
Yeah, I agree. At least one of the faces is cute. It's not mine. Okay, so that's, we get a lot of feedback. Although, this week I did get called the name I'd prefer to go by, the Silver Fox. Okay.
He's been talking about this since he got that comment last week.
So it's Colin the Silver Fox Ferguson.
Sure. Let's go with it.
Okay, can we go with that?
You are silver for sure.
Am I? So disappointing.
Well, this week we are returning back to you with part 2 of Robbery at the World Trade Center, ?
Expert by experience. You know, we talk about the fact our clients know this about us. We have traveled down every aspect of the diamond industry. We have a history with the company that is so compelling. And really the benefit is for our clients because of what we bring to the table, every diamond we broker and every piece of jewelry we create. And so when we talk about these stories, we're really taking you backstage somewhere so you understand the level of knowledge and experience that we really have. And, you know, I guess not a lot of companies want to talk about robberies, but I will say this. I, on purpose, no longer go into jewelry stores, whether I'm here or in New York or Los Angeles, because I'm afraid to. And, you know, recently here in Vancouver, we had a smash and grab robbery where the criminals got into the jewelry store with people there and locked the doors, pulled out their guns, and started smashing things. And, you know, I warn people, we live in a different world now. A lot of these stories, you don't have to be part of it. For me personally, and I talked to you about this, I've been in a bank when a guy pulled a gun out. In fact, you and I walked by that bank, and I was able to describe the whole interior of the bank to her. I hadn't been there in a long time. The pole I stood and sort of slunk behind when the guy pulled the gun. The diamond industry covers these stories up. They don't want you to think about the fact that really you're in peril in a jewelry store.
Mm-hmm. It happens more often than you think, too, right?
And it's frightening. And the criminals are more and more sophisticated, as the criminals are in the story we're about to tell you. So when you deal with us, we think of our clients' safety and security first. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's ways to minimize your exposure. You know, nowadays, and directly as a result of COVID, now clients can be where they are and take advantage of, you know, not just the most beautiful diamonds in the world, which really is what we do, and at prices that defy comparison, but, you know, and it sounds crazy, but you don't have to leave your own home anymore. Technology has gotten so far in front of everything.
That's right.
You know, and it's getting more and more. So anyway, there's my introduction as to why we tell these stories. It's it shows our competence and our credibility and our commitment to our clients.
Right.
And that's part of the cost, right? Because nowadays the paradigm for diamonds, what's luxury and is what not, it's almost a democratization of luxury that is taking place. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Lee?
Absolutely. And I know this is a sensitive topic for you to talk about, so we do appreciate you telling us these stories. Why don't we just get started?
Sure. This one takes place at the World Trade Center. We're sitting here, you know, many of you have heard me talk about this. We're high atop the Marriott Hotel in downtown Vancouver. And I guess, do we still have a view going on? I guess you can see the view, but what I can see from here is where I had offices for 22 years in the World Trade Center. And that's really where this story takes place. You've heard me talk about the fact that on 9/11 we had to evacuate the offices when I was in Antwerp, Belgium on a buying trip. Well, let me set the stage for you with this one. It's 4 a.m. in Pacific Standard Time here on the west coast of Canada, and I'm home doing what I think most people would be doing. I'm sound asleep in bed.
Not these days anymore. Colin's up working at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Well, we're dealing in a lot of different time zones now, so and we're busy. And
so tell us where home is. At the time, you're working in in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, at the World Trade Center. But you weren't living there.
No, I was living. Lloyd's of London had flown up their best guy for security purposes. So this ties in nicely. Good question, Judy. For security purposes, they'd flown in their top guy and recommend that I get my butt out of town. And so for 22 years, so that they couldn't grab me and just, rob me, for 22 years, I lived on Vancouver Island and took a seaplane back and forth to work every day, if you can imagine.
I really can't imagine. It's a beautiful ride on the seaplane between the island and Vancouver.
Well, there's stories about the engine literally bursting into flames at least one time.
Gotta save that for another time.
We'll save that for another time. But yeah, I'm at home in Nanaimo, and it's 4 a.m, and the alarm, my phone starts buzzing, and it's the security company. And they've got, and I can't remember what location it was or what part of the office. I know it, but what they called it was quadrant 4 or 3. I can't remember. But basically, the alarm had gone off, the motion detector in the office on a Monday morning. And if you've owned a home or anything, you have alarm security systems, and once in a while a picture will fall off the wall, or the cat will set off. You don't think anything of it. And so, I said to them, just reset it, and went back to sleep and got up in the morning and hopped on the plane and flew over and got to the office around 9 a.m. And, it was interesting. I'm getting goosebumps as I start to tell this. As soon as I got to the office, I buzzed in, I went in the man trap. As soon as I got out of the man trap, in my case it's a man trap, the hair in the back of my neck stood up, and I thought of the call, and I felt something's wrong here, and I couldn't put my finger on it at the time. And at the time, I had this gut reaction, and I went around to all my staff, and I literally went to their desk. It was 6 or 7 employees at the time. And I went to their desk and I said, look, get the blank up and get the fuck out of here. Okay, head down to the front. You're probably wondering why I use the expletive to drive home a point. I was frightened. And so I got everybody out of the office just on a gut feeling, got them all running downstairs to the front desk, waiting there. We called the police. Police came. We go back up to the office and we wander in, and still I'm just having, the police had the police dog. They showed up with a police dog, and they thought I was crazy. I'm going, look, I just feel like someone's in my office. Well, to make a long story much shorter, no one was in the office, but when that police dog came shooting in, he went right to one of the safe rooms and started barking at the ceiling.
Weird.
So basically, again, I just shudder when I think about this story. What had happened is they were long gone. They had gotten into the ceiling.
When you say they, you're referring to the attempted robbers.
The attempted robbers. Okay. So they had gotten in. The World Trade Center, for those of you who don't know, closes on weekends. It's not like it's heavy security to get in and to get out. Now, what these guys had done was they had our neighbors, they had cased us for quite a while. We knew who they were. We could prove nothing. They said they were referred by a friend. They even gave a name. They got into our offices. They had scoped it all out, knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
Our neighbors as you walked out our front doors to the right in the office, had left the office on Friday. It was open. They'd moved out. And so what these guys had done, they must have been casing the place for a long time, had gotten in there. They'd cut a hole in the ceiling to be able to get in above the ceiling. Now, this is the World Trade Center. This is high security, but there was a crawl space in above the ceiling.
Oh my God.
They'd gotten in above the crawl space and had spent the weekend there.
Just camping out.
I mean, what that dog was smelling wasn't pretty, let me tell you. There were candy bar wrappers. There was a piss jug.
Oh my
Piss
God.
jug's what they call them. It's not a pee jug, it's a piss jug. And there was a poop in the corner up there of our
my
offices where these guys had camped out. Now, what we found out later is this was a gang that had literally been going up the west coast of North America. They'd struck in Los Angeles, they'd struck in San Francisco, and
What
were
kind of targets did they have? Just like jewelry stores?
well, what they were doing, just dealers. We're not really a jewelry store. No. They were very sophisticated in how they did it. They were after where the real diamonds are, the source, right? And so they had they'd cased us out. They had set it up, and they were foiled. And I always tell people how lucky I am. I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And what had happened at 4 a.m, the way these guys operated, we had a 3-safe system. You know, nowadays we don't even bother with that. We only deal directly from the bank. So it's almost impossible. And now, again, as a result of COVID, we can ship directly from a bank safe deposit box. There's no more carrying diamonds. There's no more access to them.
Thing of the past.
It's a thing of the past. And so what had happened was the way they were robbing places was getting up in the ceiling, waiting, and apparently the plan was, when I got there and opened the safe, because with the most sophisticated machinery, it's noisy. It's not like in the movies. You don't get to be there by yourself, and there's no security. There's security all through there who would hear the noise in a quiet weekend. What they would do is they would wait, jump down out of the ceiling, and pistol whip or shoot me. Once the safe was open, take the diamonds and vacate the premises.
Oh my
And
God.
what had happened at 4 a.m. that day, when they had moved a tile ceiling to be able to look down at me when I opened the safe so they could see me, and to my good fortune, it set off the motion detector that was right beside it.
Now, can you imagine if you had a silent alarm?
They would have still been in the ceiling.
They would have still been in the
You know,
ceiling.
it's interesting because that gut feeling I had, what they had done to find their way to where they were going is they had moved tiles and hadn't affected the motion detector. It was that very last one that affected the motion detector. That's lucky.
That's
So
really
when I walked in and my anxiety, even now I'm anxious about it, shot up, this was what was going on. So there you go. Okay, all's well that ends well. The police never really did very much. I mean, what could they do?
Yeah.
They did some fingerprinting. I don't think they DNA'd the poop, or, you know, there was no crime scene unit. But these are the sort of things where we learn by experience. And I always say to people, we're experts by experience. It's like grading a diamond. You know, you can have 2 identically graded diamonds, identical in every single way on paper, and have one of them be much, much more beautiful in real life. That's the one you want. That's an expert by experience.
I can't get over the fact that, like, it took a mastermind to really plan this whole thing out. It probably took them weeks, maybe even months.
It was months. We know who
Right?
they are.
Yeah.
We just couldn't prove anything.
So they pretended to be a client.
They pretended to be a client. They even, I
Scoping out the
believe,
place.
they bought something at the time. They didn't try to hide who they were, right? They bought something because what could the police do? Go talk to them and then deny it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They were true professionals. But here we are. This is
Crazy.
a decade and a half later. And and the world's changed a lot in that regard. So now you can imagine our passion for not only keeping us safe and secure, but keeping our clients safe and secure. You know, it's a different world we live in. I think, it comes to mind, I've been to countries as the global diamond broker, like the Philippines, where I'm in, a city where driving along in Manila, and I opened the window and put my arm out.
Yeah.
And in those days, I wore a Rolex. And the guy freaking out because he said, put the window up. You can't.
be wearing those
He goes,
things.
they will chop your hand off to take it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this is, when we look at crime statistics, even here in the beautiful city of Vancouver, other cities, guys, it's getting scary.
It's getting scary.
Safe, secure. That's what you got to be. And again, I'm not walking into any jewelry stores anytime soon. I mean, you can Google these stories.
Not with me.
I might send
Don't
you
look
in.
like a
So there we go.
Awesome.
There's my story. And please, if you have questions, if you want to talk about it, if you want more details, we're very accessible. Reach out to us. I mean, my cell number is on my email, 604-999-8111. Shoot me a text.
Don't call him, guys. Text
I
him.
don't answer many phone calls. And mostly because we're busy. But that's this week. What are we doing next week?
Well, we are super busy right now with managing our TikTok and our Instagram and all
The
of our
Silver
socials.
Fox.
Yeah, people call him the Silver Fox, and I can see
Right.
why.
Hey, I don't really get it myself, but I get the silver part. But I thought I was more of a wolf.
Yeah, Wolf is a little more accurate.
I mean, the thing for us today is if you go to our Instagram or our TikTok, it's at the Global Diamond Broker. We're getting ready for the holiday season. This is kind of the calm before the storm, and the jewelers actually end up buying this time of year. And as you know, that's the history of the company, is selling directly to them. So we're busy. But
a
we
good
got time for our
problem,
podcast. But we're one recording wonders. Like, we don't do there's not a whole lot of script writing or any of that. We're
None
just
of that.
real, authentic diamond people.
Yeah, I mean, we try our best to be just our candid selves, and I think people really enjoy that. So,
Well, the feedback we get says, well, they enjoy you, me not so much.
no, I doubt that.
Hey, the Silver Fox. Anyway, Judy, always a pleasure. There
Always
you
a
go.
pleasure,
There's
Colin.
another story about true tale of trade, trust, and betrayal. And to all our listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you like the new format. Please follow us on Instagram. Make sure you go register at theglobaldiamondbroker.com. We're having fun. Hope you guys are. Need a quote, need a price, need to understand a little bit more. Contact us.
If you're looking to buy diamonds this holiday season, and now is the time to do it, because we have a projected very busy season coming up. So.
No, and it's funny because no matter what we do, Christmas morning I will be somewhere other than home delivering something that some guy has waited till the last minute. Judy, always a pleasure. We got to get back to work. Call us, text us, reach out to us. We're here.
Bye, guys.